Alright, so damn it world, I want more average gay movies. So Victoria is back with more. I haven't decided what this is going to be called because I am too lazy to come up with a name, but that's life. Anyway, so first, let's talk about Atomic Blonde as a movie. Now, I get exactly what they were going for. Honestly, they were kind of vague as fuck. I mean, every damn time they talked about the big twist, it was like a wink wink, nudge nudge kind of thing, and by the end it was like so confusing, but it didn't matter anyway, because it frankly goddamn resolved itself in its own badly executed kind of way. The takeaway is the Cold War is over. Lorraine, our protagonist, just wants it to end. She can fuck off and go be gay in her own home country. So, in a nutshell, it's just an action spy flick. You have like all the cliches. You got this sleek, attractive protagonist who can overcome anything and everything with overwhelming ingenuity. There's a cat and mouse tension, cheesy one-liners between the protagonist and her superiors, and lover who, spoiler, gets killed. But honestly, the cliche stuff was cliche, but in a good way. Like, everything was super predictable, but in like a refreshing way. Not good, refreshing. So, especially relative to any movie on rotation on your local cable stations, it's kind of nice to see lesbian sex on the screen and a confirmed bisexual lead character and a woman fighting like a woman who can just kick my ass any day and all that. But enough of that review. I give it a 6.5 out of 10. I want more of that. Like, Atomic Blonde got released in the context of a really hotly debated, like, situation online, which people are upset about an even more gay piece of work called Dream Daddy. Now, I haven't gotten to experience it in full yet, but the takeaway is you're a dad and you date dads. And people have gotten very aggressive over the piece of work. And now it's really only one thing about the game itself, and it's an ending about one dad murdering all the others, now ex-wives and spouses, in order to make this perfect community or world or whatever of sexy dads, and your daughter's actually been kidnapped and subbed up by a demon for a wee bit of time too. And yet it does fall under the problematic trope of the predatory gay man trying to force sexuality or whatever. But otherwise, it's just kind of a doofy ending. Like, dating sims with a fun premise but a dark secret ending are like a fun gimmick in, the indie world. Like, just look at How to Fool Boyfriend. Spoilers for that. And my take on that is, it doesn't invalidate your romances with anyone else or the fun you're having. It doesn't make the game bad. It's just a dark way to explain a premise that frankly is pretty rare. Like, okay, there's gayborhoods, but gayborhoods where everyone's kind of already had kids and exceedingly gay and or bisexual, and frankly male bisexuality is accepted, shit's nuts. The reason why I bring Dream Daddy up though is that fans get pretty hung up over works that attempt to be progressive or seem to be. They want it to be painstakingly perfect, and you know what, we're absolutely not gonna get as much virtual on the other hand about Atomic Blonde. Now, maybe it's because Atomic Blonde doesn't claim progressivism as a tagline, but frankly, neither does Dream Daddy. It's gay, but that's about it. And that's what Atomic Blonde does too. It mentions it's bisexual, like in the promo, but that's not the prime feature, arguably less than Gay Daddy. Dream Daddy. Dream Daddy is a work of diverse queer media, but it doesn't talk about it. It's an indie game, and so people make the assumption or apply it that diverse queer media has to be perfect in every way. And by the way, Dream Daddy is and does an excellent job of achieving a lot of diverse queer indie media goals. Atomic Blonde is, on the other hand, kind of far from perfect. It's a solid 6.5 out of 10, and it has some things, in my opinion, or is problematic, or in the usual context is problematic. I'm going to choose word, obligatory, for the video. By the way, I always link the script down below. So, yeah, the problematic lesbian trope, the dead lesbian lover thing. But in my opinion, what overrules that is that it's also the dead spy lover trope, and that's the clear intent. And it's not like the lover doesn't put up a fight or was killed for being queer. It follows a flawed but common storyline of a spy's lover becoming too important to live in the eyes of the villain. And yeah, you know what? She did have information. She was a spy. She was a target. Yeah, like during the movie, we see lesbians lying around having sex and getting naked, but we see that in a straight form in action flicks too, and superhero flicks too, and so on. And whatever. I think that's okay. In fact, that's necessary. Normalizing these concepts of the super strong woman protagonist, bisexual lover, femme fatale spy, or dating myriad of handsome fathers doesn't mean we have to perfect this normalization. In fact, I think it's the opposite. I think imperfect but okay and fun and digestible and accessible media is necessary. And what that does is break down this idea that diverse media is only okay if it's no less than 100.00 out of 100. You know what? We tolerate, if not enjoy, bland media where everyone has the same casting and action scenes and cliches. I mean, there's 8 goddamn Fast and Furious movies. We have 2 John flicks, chick flicks, war dramas, buddy cop movies, superhero movies, and let's not get started on horror movies. Nobody's making a fuss. Some people are, and they do excellent work. And you know, Atomic Blonde will sooner or later join our cable TV rotation of trite action movies, and good. I want to see some bisexual girl in 5 years flipping through channels, feeling like it's okay to exist in her mediocre media, because that'll mean the only images about that identity or whatever won't exist in films that are centered around those identities and issues, which they are when we hold queer and otherwise diverse media up to such absurd standards. We severely limit our representation. We have such a difficult gate to pass. So, go see Atomic Blonde because there's a fight scene that lasts at least 8 minutes, spans multiple floors and rooms, and is one continuous shot. And I want to see more characters like that do that. And go see Girls Trip, by the way, not for the reasons I just mentioned, but because it's supposedly a really, really good movie. So yeah.